Now, on a completely different matter, last year, on a broad and bipartisan basis, Congress passed sanctions that were designed to block Russia from completing its Nord Stream 2 pipeline project. The Biden administration recently waived those sanctions to allow the pipeline to move forward. And now it appears the administration has cut a deal with Germany that will allow the pipeline to become operational. The initial press reporting about this deal does not inspire confidence that this administration is taking the Russian threat as seriously as it should, nor does it indicate that we're standing with our Ukrainian partners who are struggling to defend themselves against Moscow's aggression. The administration appears to have ignored the border implications of the Nord Stream 2 project and Russia's approach to Europe writ large. Green energy initiatives or promises of diplomatic meetings will not address the real risk Moscow passes, not even close. Just a couple of years ago, Washington Democrats were absolutely melting down over their belief that the prior administration was being too soft on Russia and leaving Ukraine in the lurch. Where's the outrage today? For several years there, my colleagues across the aisle sounded like big-time Russia hawks. So I hope they'll now join Republicans in pressing the administration to explain this curious decision, to explain how President Biden intends to impose meaningful costs on Moscow for all its misdeeds at the same time they have America greasing the skids for this Putin pipeline. Now, on one final matter, next week President Biden is set to meet with Prime Minister of Iraq, Mustafa al-Kadhimi. The meeting comes at an important moment for our shared efforts toward peace and security in Iraq and the entire region. ISIS has been significantly weakened in Iraq and Syria after years of shared efforts, but the terrorist organization remains a grave threat. And ISIS is far from the only threat Iraqis and the Iraqi government are facing. For years, Iran has systematically sought to undermine Iraq's sovereignty. Iran's well-armed proxy militias report to Tehran, not Baghdad, but they operate inside Iraq. These groups have conducted campaigns of intimidation and assassination against peaceful protesters and independent journalists in Iraq. The same brutal methods they employ in Syria, Lebanon, and in Iran itself. These Iranian-backed militias are also threatening our own American interest in Iraq. Iran wants to pick fights with a superpower while making the nation of Iraq bear the risk. The fact is, the U.S. is in Iraq at the invitation of their government. We're there to support the Iraqis and to help the Iraqis kill terrorists and defend their sovereignty. Our presence in Iraq also helps our operations in Syria against ISIS and al-Qaeda. Again, pretty obvious the terrorist threat is not over. Remember, the disastrous withdrawal of U.S. forces from Afghanistan may not simply be felt in that country. A Taliban victory and resurgence of al-Qaeda could embolden jihadists all over the world, just as the rise of ISIS did in the wake of President Obama's withdrawal from Iraq. As we watch Afghanistan descend into chaos and ISIS continue to lash out in Iraq and Syria, now is not the time for either the U.S. or Iraq to pretend that our shared mission is over. As I've warned again and again, terrorists don't observe our political timetables. They don't pack up just because we lose faith or lose focus. So let's hope this administration is already learning from their mistakes in Afghanistan. When the Iraqi Prime Minister visits next week, the White House should provide strong assurances that the U.S. will stand strong with our friends and continue to support our partners who are standing up to terror and to extremism.